Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my Friday message. My special guest this week is Nora Lad. Dr. Lad is an associate professor and director of the clinical research in the Department of Ophthalmology. She'll tell us about the challenges and successes of the clinical trials that recently led to the first drug approved by the FDA to treat a devastating eye disease called geographic atrophy. Before we talk to Dr. Lad, I'd like to share a few updates. June is Pride Month, and we are proud to celebrate our LGBTQ colleagues, students, patients, and friends, not only for the 30 days of this special month, but every day of the year. The School of Medicine stands with the LGBTQ community as we celebrate our differences and take pride in each other. Duke Health is honoring this month with several special events, including Pride Day celebrations on June 7th at Duke University Hospital, Duke Raleigh Hospital, and Duke Regional Hospital. You can learn more about those events and much more by visiting the Duke Health Pride Month page at the address on your screen. At the School of Medicine and across Duke Health, we know that our diversity is our strength, and we cultivate a culture in which everyone is recognized, respected, and valued for their unique and authentic selves. I'm delighted to congratulate the winners of the inaugural Dean Staff Awards. We established these honors to recognize the tremendous contributions of our staff to the success of the School of Medicine, and we're thrilled to receive nearly 200 nominations for deserving individuals across the school. I'm proud to recognize our winners, Caitlin Hicks, Deborah Ragland, Jessica Schonberg, and Allison Taylor. I look forward to seeing them in person at the State of the School address on June 21st and later at an awards reception. Congratulations to them and to all the outstanding nominees for this year's awards. Selecting these awardees was no easy task, and I want to thank the selection committee and everyone who nominated a deserving colleague. And in the category of exciting ongoing work being done at Duke, a Phase 1 clinical trial is now underway to test the safety of a universal flu vaccine candidate. The trial is being conducted by the Duke Human Vaccine Institute and led by Principal Investigator Chip Walter, DHVI's Chief Medical Officer and Director of the Duke Vaccine and Trials Unit. It's part of a multi-million-dollar program by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases to fund the development of a modern vaccine that provides longer and broader protection against both seasonal and pandemic influenza viruses. So if you're interested, enrollment will be done through the NIH site shown on this slide. And now, please sit in on my conversation with Nora Lad. Nora, thanks so much for joining me today. So you've led a recent clinical trial for geographic atrophy and an exciting outcome. But first, can you just tell us what geographic atrophy is and what was the therapeutic intervention?
Certainly. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Geographic atrophy is the end stage of age-related macular degeneration, which is a deterioration of the retina, the tissue in the back of the eye responsible for central vision. Unfortunately, it's an irreversible, progressive, and disabling disease. And it's a huge area of clinical unmet need, which is why this trial was so exciting.
So Nora, what does this mean for the patient?
This approval was game-changing for this field because it's the first treatment available to patients that slows down this advanced degeneration. It allows patients to maintain their vision for longer, and what's interesting is that it works better the longer we use it in patients. The effects become increase over time in these patients. In addition, it gives patients hope that finally there's something available to slow down their degenerative process until better treatments come around. Again, this is the beginning of a new therapeutic era, and that's why it's so important.
And I assume better treatments are coming around.
The pipeline is explosive and extensive, unlike even 5 years ago. So I'm very enthused that in the future we'll have excellent treatments for our patients and many tools in our medical armamentarium.
And it was international. How many patients? And it must have been incredibly challenging.
It is international, so typical 2 Phase 3 parallel masked trials that enrolled over 1,200 participants. And it is a challenge because early on we discovered an impurity that led to inflammation. And we met with a steering committee and acted very quickly as a group, and were able to, in the end, get the study back on track in time.
So any major challenge come to mind?
The impurity and the inflammation related to that, and coordinating the center. At Duke, we served as a leading site for one of these 2 Phase 3s due to our interest in visual function and this disease. And we helped coordinate the site so the trial could keep going on smoothly.
So speaking of the center, you and your colleagues really lead the way in AMD research. Why are you so successful?
I think it is because our strength in our department is imaging, especially for retina, which is such a visual system, visual environment where we can image it with high resolution with multiple imaging modalities. So our strength is imaging. We also use AI tools, and we have great collaborative efforts with biomedical engineering, immunology, and other folks in basic sciences that help us elucidate AMD.
So you really do take advantage of the one Duke approach, where you find whatever expertise you need and you put together a team.
Certainly, and that goes for complex clinical trials like this. We have everything to our fingertips for complex labs or imaging. Everything is closely knit at Duke, so we have access to all the resources we need for any complex trial.
Well, that's so exciting. Thank you, and thank you to your team. And thanks to everyone for all that you do. Have a great week.